Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of A Healthy Dose of Fran. Today I'm back with my movie reviews, and this time I'm looking at the latest live-action Disney film, The Lion King. And let's just say I've got a lot of opinions about this film, so let's get into it. And this is Disney's The Lion King. Now, you guys know what I'm about to say. As per usual, in this movie review, I will be talking about plot-related aspects, so if you don't want to hear any spoilers, the official spoiler alert is going along here. So if you want to skip to where I'll give my final thoughts, I'll put a time up here for you guys, so you can skip to that now, because the spoilers are starting now. So as most of you may know, I've always had mixed opinions about the Disney live actions, and from the past movie reviews that I've done, some have really hit the mark while others have severely missed it. And The Lion King was the one that I was the most anxious about, because not only is it the most favourite film from the Disney Renaissance era and the most popular one from that time, but it's also the one most hard to remake, because it's all CGI animation of animals that are made to look lifelike, so don't have the same emotional visual cues that we would see in the original animation, unless you are able to kind of tell the different emotional tells in animals, which the average man doesn't often know how to do that. But in general, it was just something I was worried about, and unfortunately the worry was justified. And Disney's The Lion King really wasn't that great. It had its moments of great hilarious kind of cues. The comedy on certain aspects really kind of hit the point, but other than that, it just really wasn't that good. Everything just felt really quick for some reason. It was like the film was on ×5 speed, and it felt really off. Like, all the characters just didn't seem to interact well with each other, except for maybe Scar and the hyenas and Timon and Pumbaa. All the other characters, it felt like there was a huge pause in between each aspect of dialogue, and it just felt really awkward. And the characters in general, I liked that they kind of changed a little bit of the characterization. Like, Simba was a little bit more free-loving, kind of free-going when he was in the spiritual outcast area with Timon and Pumbaa. It's kind of a bit more chill. They kind of introduced a few more characters in that, so there are other herbivore animals that Simba was around. But kind of other than that, literally the only thing I kind of really enjoyed was Scar. And you guys know I am a hoe for the villains, and if the villain is amazing, I am going to love every second of it. But even with Scar being a brilliant villain, the film really couldn't be saved. But to kind of bring on the positives a little bit more, I'm going to talk about Scar, because honestly, Chiwetel Ejiofor as Scar was probably the best choice. And I know loads of people kind of complain about it because the original Scar voice actor was still alive, but Chiwetel, it did an amazing job. And I think Scar was so much better in this than in the original, because he was so sinister and terrifying. Like, there was literally a young girl sat behind me sobbing because she was afraid of him, which I know is bad that I'm laughing at a child crying, but it's kind of funny. But I sound like a horrible person. But it just showed the impact of his character. Like, firstly, we learn how he got the scar. He got it from Mufasa because he tried to fight for the throne, and he got scarred, pun intended. But he's also just generally a lot darker, and I like that they kind of went to the roots of the story behind this, because obviously The Lion King is based on Hamlet, and in Hamlet, the uncle marries the queen. In this case, obviously, Scar isn't able to marry Sarabi, but he tries to convince her that it's best for her to marry him after Mufasa's death, and there are just so many other things, and his manipulation through the song Be Prepared for the Hyenas. Literally, I got goosebumps the moment it came on because it's so dark and sinister, and the way in which he kills Mufasa, even more dark. Like, before we just see him let go of Mufasa's hands. In this case, Scar literally bitch slaps him, really, off of the cliff with his claws as a sort of payback for the scar that he got from Mufasa. And just kind of everything about him, how he manipulates Simba, the hyenas, Mufasa, the lionesses, everything about it is just fantastic. But that was literally the only saving grace for this film, other than the little bits of Timon and Pumbaa, especially Timon. Timon, I think, was the better character in this, whereas like in the original, I wasn't much of a fan of Timon. I thought Pumbaa was a better character than Timon, whereas in this case I thought Timon was a lot better. He had a lot more character. And also they make fun of Beauty and the Beast by singing Be Our Guest to distract the hyenas for Simba and Nala, which made everyone in the cinema laugh. But literally, other than that, it was just a really awkward film. The voice acting was not great. Everything just kind of seemed to follow with an awkward pause. The CGI, I'll admit, was really good. They got the right actions for what lions and other animals act like in the wild, which I think kind of helped give that sort of realism to it. But again, it was the voice acting, the cues, the interaction between the characters, again, other than Scar with the hyenas and Timon and Pumbaa, it all just felt really off. And I could feel that in the cinema. Like, people seemed to really enjoy it and it seemed to be quite nice, but not everyone was kind of really into the film as you would have expected them to be. And I think that's just kind of the unfortunate fact of a remake being shot for shot the original film, and it's just not worth it. Now, to you guys coming back, my basic summary of this film is, while it's an interesting film, it's not really worth seeing. You can literally watch the original animation and you would get the exact same film. Literally the only good thing about this is Scar, and Scar in this film is better than the original. But other than that, I wasn't particularly impressed with the live action Lion King. But that is just my opinion, so if you guys do still want to see it, obviously you can go see it. I'm not saying you can or can't, so it's up to you, but for me, live action Lion King, 5 out of 10. But what did you guys think? Did you enjoy the film? Do you think there were things about it that were really good? What did you think was bad about it? And do you agree with me that Scar in the live action may have actually been better than Scar in the original? Let me know in the comment section down below. But in general, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Before I sign off, I need to give a huge thank you and a plug-in to the fantastic guys over at Legend of Portalcast, a podcast all about Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra. And these guys had me on their show earlier this week to talk about my channel and everything that I do relating to Avatar. And I had one of the most greatest experience talking with their host, Colin. So I'm going to link their show in the description box down below so you can check out the interview with me, as well as their other episodes where they do things like review Legend of Korra and talk about things relating to the Avatar universe. So that is linked in the description box down below. As well as in the description box, you'll find the link to the trailer for The Lion King, as well as the links to my Instagram and Patreon, where on Patreon you get early access to any and all of my videos, as well as have a say as to what comes out in future. And on YouTube, however, if you guys aren't already subscribed, go to the button down below or click the one popping up here on screen. If you want to check out any of my previous film reviews, the playlist will be popping up here, and then something else for you guys will be popping up here. But I want to thank you guys so much again, and I'll see you guys next time.